Welcome to theory lesson number 1, pitch direction and letter names. This is the first music theory lesson for the site. And before we dive into much more specific and in-depth music theory using music notation, our first lesson is going to be a very basic look at pitch direction in music. And we'll be demonstrating this on the piano, the guitar, and on music notation. In our theory lessons on the site, we are going to be looking at traditional classical music theory, but also relating it to the guitar on a regular basis to make sure that you understand proper music theory, but also how it relates to the instrument. Make sure to visit the full lesson. There's a link for that in the description. I'll have more diagrams and things on that page, so you can go check that out. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel for future music theory lessons, as well as visiting the main theory page where I'll list all the lessons in order and be adding to it as we go. Okay, so the word pitch describes how high or low a note sounds. This is literally governed by the rate of vibrations that are producing it, in this case from the guitar strings or the strings of the piano. On the one side we have low notes, and on the other side we have high notes. So a high pitch, a low pitch. In vocal music, this can be referred to the human voice, like when we have soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, which are classifications of the singing voices based on the natural range and pitches a voice can comfortably produce. Soprano being the highest, then alto, then tenor, and then bass being the low sounds. But now let's first take a look at pitch direction on the keyboard, because pitch direction on the piano or keyboard is very straightforward. When we move to the right, we get higher in pitch. When we move to the left, we get lower. It's very straightforward and organized in that fashion. And then after that, we'll take a look at pitch direction on guitar. So now let's take a look at pitch direction on the guitar. Pitch direction on the guitar is a little bit more complex than on the piano, but it still works on a single string. It still works in the basic same way. When we move up a single string to the right or up the fretboard, the pitch gets higher. So we start off with like a lower sound. So the high sound and the low sound. So when we move this direction, we get higher in pitch. That works with all the strings. So higher in pitch as we go this way, lower in pitch as we go this way. But on the guitar, we also can change the pitch, the highness and lowness of the pitch, by going across the strings. So we have a low note and a high note. High, low. And of course, we can combine the two by both moving across the strings and moving in this direction. When we look at music notation, what we want to make sure we make a strong connection to is that when the notes go up in the music notation, that we are realizing that they can go up on the guitar in this way or this way, on the piano in this way or this way. So now let's take a look at pitch direction in music notation, which will clarify this even more. So in our musical system, different pitches have letter names, and in our musical alphabet, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now, of course, there's actually 12 pitches in the musical alphabet, but we're going to learn about that later when we discuss accidentals, which are sharps and flats. But we're going to cover that in a future lesson because there's quite a bit to discuss there. On a basic level, though, if we look at the white keys of the piano, we really just have those 7 letters laid out and repeated over and over. And the notes are continuous. So when we look at a keyboard, if we start from C, we continue to go from C to the next C, which is higher in pitch, 1 octave above, and to the next C, which is even another octave above. We'll discuss these terms later, but the basic idea is that we have these letters that we're working with, and when we look at a keyboard, the white keys of the piano or the keyboard outline those, and the black keys outline the accidentals, the sharps and flats, which we will discuss in a future lesson. On the guitar, it works the same way. So we have these notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And this C is 1 octave higher than this C. So it's a higher C, higher in pitch. And as we go through higher in pitch, those letters repeat themselves. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So this C is 2 octaves higher. Again, we'll discuss the terminology later, but this is the system that we're working within. So this is the musical alphabet, and we have high pitches and low pitches, and the alphabet repeats as it gets higher. Like I said, we will be continuing this discussion. So that was the basic intro to music theory. Obviously, we have much more to explore. I'm going to be doing this quite in depth, as you're probably getting the idea from this first lesson. But this is a very important aspect of learning music. It's just orienting yourself to understand pitch direction, both in music notation and also on your instrument, and making a strong connection between those two things. So I hope you subscribe and follow the future theory lessons. We're going to be doing a lot of them, and feel free to visit the full post where you can leave comments and ask questions.